I live just outside of Memphis, Tennessee, in northern Mississippi, and there are two things that we love here, especially really love in the Mid-South. We love our Memphis-style barbecue. Remember Memphis in May, the world champion barbecue cooking contest. And we really love our catfish, our U.S. pond-raised catfish. So I'm thinking, how can I create a dish that will combine the best of two worlds, barbecue and catfish? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that today in part of my series on 50 ways to love a catfish. Welcome to All Things Food with John Woods. I love to cook, but I cook to love. So let's talk food. So let's start. How am I going to pull off this feat of combining catfish and barbecue into one great, delicious dish? Well, I'm going to show you how to do it. We have our ingredients before us. Of course, we have our pond-raised catfish. This is a 5 to 7 ounce fillet. And then I have our other simple ingredients here, our Memphis-style smoked barbecue, and then this really great rub from my good friend Malcolm Reed. You've probably seen one of Malcolm's videos, or several of them, doing barbecue right. Check his channel out. Malcolm only has about 3 million subscribers, so I think he could probably use a few more. So watch his video, or all of his videos, because they're really great on cooking barbecue and grilling out. And then my good friends, John and Kristi Bigalk, they have this wonderful barbecue sauce. They're up in Minneapolis area, and check them out as well. And we're going to be using these ingredients today to make this stuffed catfish dish. So how are we going to do it? Well, first of all, we're going to take our catfish fillet and put it in a plastic Ziploc bag. You can even do this with plastic wrap. And we want to flatten this out. So I'm going to take a mallet. I'm going to put the flesh side down, the skin side up, and I'm going to carefully pound this fillet down and get it as flat as I can without tearing it up. Be very careful. I usually work from the outside in. It's actually looking pretty good right there. Be sure to use the flat side of the mallet and not that side there with the ridges. So that looks pretty good and flat. Let's take it on out of there. And there it is, nice flat catfish fillet. Very thin, perfect for stuffing. Let's take some of Malcolm's barbecue rub over here. Sprinkle that on the inside just a little, and then on the outside of the fish, the skin side, we'll do a pretty generous amount right here. Pat it in. And this is really good barbecue rub, by the way. And you can order it from him online. Then we're going to take our barbecue, put it right in the middle. Don't want to get too much in there, just enough. And then we're going to start here on the tail end of it, and we're going to roll it up as tight as we can get it. Now the challenge is, how are we going to keep all that together? Well, some will say, well, I'll use toothpicks. Well, toothpicks really don't do too well. So we're going to take some of this butcher's twine, cut off about 8 or 10 inches or whatever, and I'm going to have that tail end tucked down there. I'm going to bring the butcher's twine around. Tie it off, not too tight, just enough to hold it together. Then we're going to do the length of the fillet there. And this piece will need to be a little longer than the first piece. Just gently tie it. Don't get it too tight. Just want enough to hold it together when we put it in the skillet. So after that, we're pretty much ready right there. So that didn't take too long. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to put this in the skillet and brown it just a little bit on all sides. Then we're going to stick it in a preheated 400-degree oven for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Now keep in mind, when we cook this, it's a stuffed piece of fish. Anything stuffed, whether it's chicken, fish, turkey, or whatever, you need an internal temperature of 165 degrees. This is really critical that you cook it to an internal of 165 degrees. And we're going to check that with a digital thermometer just to make certain that we've hit that temperature. So let's heat up our skillet and let's go from there. I just put in my oil. I'm going to heat it up real good before I put my fillet in. Remember, you always listen for the sizzle. think it's pretty good and hot. Let's see. Yep, there's the sizzle. Probably cook it 30, 40 seconds on each side. We just want to kind of brown it up a little bit. I'm gonna check the bottom side and see how we're looking. We're looking pretty good there, actually. Now, I tell you what, if you really want to add something to this dish, wrap it in bacon. That would be absolutely fabulous. I have never done that, but I just thought about that. It looks so good. I think wrapping this in bacon would be absolutely great. So if you try it, be sure to write to me and let me know. And really, I think I could have added a little bit more of Malcolm's seasoning onto this and been a little more generous with it. Because remember, you're going to lose about 30% of your seasoning once you stick it into the skillet. So this is browned up really nicely on all sides. I'm going to take it, put it on a sheet pan, and we're going to stick it over there in the oven for about 15 minutes on 400 degrees. Probably at about the 10-minute stage, we're going to take some of the Bigalk's, John and Kristi's Sweet Kristi barbecue sauce and pour on it. The reason I don't do that now is I don't want it to caramelize too much and burn the sauce, because the sauce does have a little bit of sugar in it. And I'll also, before I put the sauce on it, I'll also snip the baker's twine, and so I won't have to mess with that after I put the sauce on. So let me go stick this in the oven. I'll be right back. We pulled this out of the oven after about 8 or 9 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just check the internal temperature and see where we are. It has quite a long way to go. So what we're going to do now at this point, of course, I'm going to sanitize this before I use it again. We're going to cut the string off of it. And when you get string, be sure you get real butcher's twine. Don't go to Hobby Lobby and get anything that's used for hobbies, or anything definitely not coated with nylon or anything like that. That would be a big mistake. So get real butcher's twine if you can find it. Usually I get mine at Kroger. It's about the best place I find around here to get it. So got our filet there. I'm going to go ahead and take John and Kristi's sauce, or your favorite barbecue sauce. Malcolm makes a good sauce. Put it right on top there, a little bit. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? So I pulled it out of the oven, and I told you to check the temperature I have a digital thermometer here. We're at about 167 degrees and climbing a little bit. Now let me tell you, everyone's oven's a little different. I cooked this actually for about 17 minutes in my convection oven to get it to the proper temperature. So you need to adjust your cooking time according to your particular oven. And I think it turned out really, really good. So we were quite successful in merging together the cuisine of Memphis, Tennessee barbecue with the cuisine of Mississippi and the South catfish. So there you have it, our barbecue stuffed catfish. I want to thank my good friend Malcolm Reed for his wonderful rub there, John and Kristi Bigalk for their wonderful sauce, and then I can hardly wait to try this. And this is part of my video series on 50 ways to love a catfish. I hope that you watch all the videos in this series, like us, share us with your friends, and hit subscribe. Now let me recommend one good side dish to go with this. If you've watched my video on tangy tomato and cucumber salad, I think that's exactly the side dish that should go with this barbecue here. So we're gonna put that on the side over there. Or even watch the video on my coleslaw and my hush puppies. Watch all of them. You'll learn something, and I'll see you next week on All Things Food with John Woods. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll see you the next time right here on 50 Ways to Love a Catfish.